this segment, here we are. We're starting with Week 14 games Thursday night. Raiders at Rams. No Aaron Donald, but the main reason the Rams did well Sunday was the Bobby Wagner revenge game against Pete Carroll. Don't think they're going to be as fired up for this one, even if newly acquired Baker Mayfield is active and plays, which he will be. I love Devontae and Josh Jacobs in this. Also, who knows if it's Baker, Wofford, or Perkins. I'm taking the Raiders to roll in this. I'll take Devontae as the bust out. I'll take QB1 for the Rams as the busted.
Okay, Tobin.
I've got these Thursday night games have mostly been turds in the punch bowl, and this one is definitely up there towards the top of the turds.
I might play poker and watch this one.
Anytime you've got a QB who's literally going to show up 2 days before kickoff and is likely going to be your starter, you're in trouble.
Oh, yes.
It won't be full 2 days because he didn't get on the plane until 4:25 Eastern.
Tuesday.
Yes. Yeah. So, 2 days to work.
So you're taking the Rams,
Granted, he got the film and the playbooks on some tablet immediately, likely.
You're taking the Rams, right?
Wait, where's that sounder?
Are you high?
No.
I have got the Raiders. I think it's going to be closer than people think, but I'm going to take the Raiders. My bust out's going to be Jacobs. I am looking forward to watching Devontae and Ramsey battle a little bit, see what that goes. I think Devontae wins that one. Along with Tommy, I've got QB1, whoever the heck it is for the Rams. I mean,
it'll just be a struggle.
It's a dumpster fire.
I'm taking the Raiders. I don't think there's any doubt they're going to win this game, probably going away. I was torn between Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, and the Raiders defense as the bust-out players of the game. Because let's be real, who the Rams got offensively?
Cam Akers will probably go for 37-3. What are you talking about?
More than likely.
That's entirely possible.
But that's why I chose Jacobs. And my busted is going to be the QB1 for the Rams, just like you guys. It's the Rams. Heck, they go from the absolute best team to arguably the least
worst defending champion in Super Bowl history.
Arguably the least talented team in the NFL at this point in time as far as their lineup they'll put on the field.
Yes, 100%.
Tobin, next game, Dolphins-Chargers. Who you taking, baby?
I kicked around the idea of going to this game, but I don't think I'm going to pull the trigger on that. But I'm going to go ahead and take the fish on the road. I think they've got just a little too much on the outside for the Chargers. And if this all could be changed if Tua is not healthy. But I'm assuming he's going to play. So I'll go Dolphins. I'm going to go bust out. I'm going to go Tyreek. He's just got way too much speed for the back end of the Charger secondary. Busted for the Chargers. All of them.
Pick one.
I'm gonna go with Keenan Allen. Was he playing? He got
supposedly
dinged. Yeah. He's gonna play. Is Mike back or is Mike still?
His ankle's still tweaked, but he's listed as questionable.
He was limited in practice today, so if he can get up to a full practice, he could play and be a monster.
Well, I'll stick with Keenan Allen. I think if Keenan's the number one, they're in real trouble. If Mike's back, take a little heat off. I might miss this one, but.
Well, I'm going to take the Chargers. I think they're going to win at home. I can't give you a good reason why they're going to win at home other than just think they're playing at home and they're due. The Dolphins are starting to show the warts that we thought they had early in the season, especially in the offensive line. When you sign Eric Fisher, who's expected to play.
Oh, he'll definitely play.
You got issues, especially against Bosa.
He'll have to because Teron Armstead didn't play last week, and he's questionable at best.
Well, both of their tackles are dinged, aren't they?
Yeah, both of them are
Austin
dinged.
Jackson went on IR, their right tackle.
Yeah.
My bust out's going to be Herbert. Herbert always has good fantasy games. He's one of those quarterbacks you look at, and he's 22 for 25 with 295 yards and 2 touchdowns. And you look at it and go, but the game's not that close. My bust is going to be Tua. I think Tua is going to be running for his life again if his ankle will let him, as the offensive line is going to be dominated by the Chargers' defensive line. Thomas?
Yeah. I want to pay attention to what Tua and Waddle do here. Remember, Waddle also, he didn't have a point in that game against San Francisco. I don't think he had a catch.
He had 1.7 points.
Okay.
I got him, so I started him.
But I I expect them to do well against the Chargers, and Wilson and Mostert to really run it up on the Chargers D. I'm gonna take the Dolphins. They stayed out on the West Coast. They didn't come back to Miami. The Chargers defensive line is not the 49ers defensive line.
I don't disagree.
So I don't think they'll have any problem here. I will take Jeff Wilson as my bust out. I think he's just going to go berserk. Give me Joshua Palmer as my busted. Even if Mike Williams doesn't play, I don't expect him to do anything really.
Okay, the next game. The Patriots on Monday night against the Cardinals.
Wow.
Oh, God.
What are they doing to us on prime time, folks?
We've got 3 crappy primetime games, don't we?
It all changes next year.
Thank God. Can we root for a tie? That might be the best we get out of this. The Patriots going to the Cardinals tells me the Cardinals should win, but it's the Cardinals, and they always find a way to lose, especially this time of the season.
Vegas has the Pats actually favored by 1.5.
Which is really
4.5.
Yeah. But man, it's hard to take the Patriots because they've got no explosion on offense whatsoever.
They've got that at 44.5. More importantly, for those of you listening,
Mm.
under.
I'm going to go with the Cardinals, even though don't want to. I don't think the Patriots have enough offense to score more than 17 points.
I agree.
And I think that, choosing the bust out player of the game, I'm going to go with James Conner. Don't ask me why. I can make a case for D-Hop, Murray, and Conner. I just think Conner's going to have the better game because they're going to try to control the game on the ground and make it a defensive battle, which they can win because they have a better offense than what the Patriots do. My busted player of the week going to be Ramondre Stevenson. He's the only thing you've got to stop if you're the Cardinals. Tom?
Yeah, if the Pats passing game can't get healthy here, it's not going to get healthy this year.
No.
I disagree with you on Ramondre. I think he will catch enough balls out of the backfield to be startable.
He'll catch 5 at least.
Yeah, 5 or 6. I mean, I don't think he'll get a ton. Well, he could get a ton of rushing yards too because the Cards can't stop the run.
But that's all they got to stop is the run.
I love the Cardinals in this one. I haven't I'll go home tonight. I'll probably watch the Hard Knocks and see what they did during the bye week. But
They played Call of Duty. What are you talking about?
well, yeah, Kyler did.
A lot of it.
Bill Belichick came out and threw a bunch of flowers at D-Hop. D-Hop's going to bust out in this one. I don't know why I say bust out. 9 for 90 and a touchdown. I mean, isn't that what he does every week?
Pretty much. So you're taking D-Hop as your bust out player?
He'll be my bust out. My busted is Mac Jones until further notice for the Patriots.
Is it because he's not talented or is it because he doesn't have anything around him?
It's a little bit of both. He's not as talented as what he appeared last year. And I don't know. And well, I do know. It's all because of the coaching. Getting Josh McDaniels to run the offense last year totally made Mac Jones. And without him this year, it'd be kind of like if Mac Jones was being coached by Vanderbilt's coaching staff at Alabama.
Ouch.
Oh, yeah, that was kind of, wow. Tobin. Who are you taking, bud?
Sorry, there was a drive-by right there.
That wasn't a drive-by. That was a drive-into.
Holy crap. Yeah, I've got the Cardinals at home. I don't believe Mac has what it takes to go on the road and just lead somebody to victory with the Pats, with that offense. My bust out's going to be D-Hop. I don't see how you just shut him down. Right now, he just looks unstoppable. They'll probably try and chip him with a linebacker, squeeze somebody out there, double him with safety. He's still going to get his 8 to 10. My busted's going to be Mac Jones. Yes, Doc's right. Ramondre is the only thing you have to stop, but Mac hasn't proven that even when you put 8-9 in the box that he can do anything to even threaten you, let alone beat you. So I think they're so deficient at QB1 right now that I mean, if he's the best you got, you're in trouble in New England.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Thomas, Jets at the Bills.
2 months ago, I wouldn't give them the Jets a shot. Now they can do this, unless the weather's crappy, but I don't think it's supposed to be. I expect a replay of the previous game with the Bills maybe pulling this one out with a field goal. Play the regulars, Josh Allen, Diggs, Davis, Wilson, maybe add in Cook and Knight. I'll go ahead and take the Bills in this one. I'll say my bust out is going to be James Cook. And my busted, I'm going to give that to Bam Knight here.
Okay, Tobin.
First off, folks, Vegas has this at 9.5 right now for the Bills. I think that's way too much.
I think that's
Way too much. I got it at 10 actually yesterday.
probably about right.
I'll take the Jets in the 10 all day long in this one. I don't think they win it outright. I think the Bills win this. Give me the Bills. I think Cook is just, that pendulum has, the scales have shifted between him and Singletary. And I think they're going to try and get Cook ramped up for their playoff run. So I think Cook's my bust out. My busted is Jets RB1, whether it's Carter or Knight. I don't know who's starting, but it's going to be ugly.
See, I think the Bills cover easily in this game. I think the Bills are finally going to look like we thought the Bills would look like going forward and put it together and play a complete game and absolutely blow the Jets out. The reason why my busted player is going to be Mike White, quarterback for the Jets. I think they're going to pressure him, make him throw the ball in places he's not used to throwing the ball. In reality, the Jets have talent, but it's young talent playing outdoors. Even though they do play outdoors in New York, it's different than playing outdoors in Buffalo, especially in December. I've got the Bills winning it. I've got Allen as my bust-out player. I've got White as my busted player of the game. Tobin, Browns at the Bengals.
Even though he's never beaten them, I'm going to take Burrow and the Bengals here. I mean, dude's a killer. He just is, and we'll see if he can carry it over. And that's what it's going to take for him to be that next level QB, is to start winning these games the week after the big showdowns. But I think he's got it. I take Burrow for my bust out. He's getting all his weapons healthy other than Hurst. Chase, after having a week back in. Higgins has proven he's the man.
He's 1A, 1B.
1B. Yeah. I mean, it's
Or 1AA.
What's amazing is in the Chiefs game, they have Jamar Chase running up to Higgins, and he's almost a head shorter than Higgins.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but remember, you can't have 2,000-yard receivers on the same team.
His catch radius is ridiculous.
Oh, my gosh. He is a big dude.
Yeah, Burrow, he's just got too many weapons. If Mixon comes back and he can spread the ball to him out of the backfield too, yeah, he's going to just have too many options. Yeah. My busted's going to be Deshaun. I mean, again, he's played one game in 700 days. It's going to take some time to knock the rest. It's going to take the rest of this season to knock the rest off. Not to mention a whole new system that I don't care if you've had the playbooks, you were in camp and you got to work a little bit the last couple of weeks. NFL is way too complex for that. And I mean, athletically super gifted, mentally maybe a little challenged sometimes in the system approach of it. It's going to take him some time to get it all, and he'll be back. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's my bust this week.
Okay, well, I'm torn between the Bengals and the Browns.
Well, you got to pick one of them, or you could do a Commanders Giants thing. Well, I think you get a bonus point if you nail a tie. By the way, I think we should implement that.
Well,
go for it.
I'm going to take the Bengals, but I'm torn because I think the Browns have enough talent on the field with which to win this game. But I think that Burrow is starting to take the next step and become that franchise killer quarterback that we talk about. He has all the weapons you could possibly ever need. The Browns are a year away and maybe even a new coach away from being there next year. I hope not. I hope Stefanski makes it, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. My busted is going to be Joe Mixon. He's going to come back. I don't think he's going to score as many points as what you think he's going to as a starting quarterback. I think P. Ryan probably sees 60 to 70% of the snaps, while Mixon sees 30 to 40% as they work Mixon back in, because they're really not playing for the season. They're playing for the postseason, and having Mixon healthy is the most important thing for them going into that. Tom?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. Joe Mixon is going to play this week. He's already cleared concussion protocol.
Correct.
Tobin said earlier, remember Joe Burrow's never beat the Browns, and I expect this to be a monster rushing game. And I think they're going to feature Joe Mixon. I expect him to be more like a 70-30 split, with Mixon being 70 and P. Ryan being 30%. I mean, they're going to mix in P. Ryan because, to your point, they're not going to give him 85% right out of the boat. I don't think that the Bengals can really stop Chubb. They gave up 66 yards to Isaiah Pacheco, who is good, but he is not Nick Chubb.
Correct.
But the key thing will be the play action, because I don't think the Browns can stop Higgins or Chase. I agree with Tobin. I don't think we'll see a Houston level Deshaun yet, but he'll be much better. I'm still not playing him. I'll go ahead and double down on Tobin's there and say Deshaun will be the busted player of this. I mean, he might throw a touchdown, but he's not going to throw for 300.
And who's your bust out?
My bust out, let me get Chase here, because I think it's going to be one of those things. He's going to make one of those Jamar Chase moves. I mean, Jamar Chase had the greatest catch I've ever seen in a game last week, and he was 2 feet out of bounds.
That was a hell of a grab, though.
I mean, and against Cleveland, he's going to get loose somehow.
And Cleveland only really has one cornerback to be able to put out there who they can put on, Higgins or Chase.
Right.
Probably Higgins would be my guess, because Chase is coming back from the injury.
Right. They'll try to do some sort of bracket coverage on Chase.
Yep.
And it won't work. Once or twice.
Okay, the next game is the Bucs at the 49ers. I'm taking the 49ers. That 49ers defense is that good.
To cover up a broken QB1, right?
Well, their QB1 is
There's a lot in play in this game.
Purdy is a serviceable quarterback at this point in time. If they didn't think that they could win with him, they would have went out and they would have tried to get Baker Mayfield. They'd be working something, trying to get a Jameis Winston, something along those lines with which to put somebody out there who can throw the ball around. My bust out player of the game is going to be the 49ers defense. They're going to get after Brady. They're going to put pressure everywhere. They'll probably even pick him off once and return it for a touchdown at that point in time. I expect a defensive score for the 49ers in this game. Safety, touchdown, some combination thereof. My busted player of the week is going to be Tom Brady. He's shown frustrations this year. He's shown that he is not the invincible emotional juggernaut that we thought he was. He gets frustrated at those things. I think he's going to be frustrated. Him and his coach are probably going to end up yelling at each other sometime during this game, as he wants to go for it and the coach doesn't want to, because he doesn't want to get embarrassed. Tom Brady's still the most talented, the best quarterback to play the game. Not the most talented, but the best. And I think it's going to be ugly early. I think it's going to stay that way in the second half. Tom?
Yeah, after watching the Bucs stink on Monday night, I don't know how they're going to go across country and become competitive. I mean, for the Bucs, maybe you're playing Godwin, maybe Evans. For the 49ers, I downgrade everyone against this tough run D from the Bucs.
Mm-hmm.
But you've still got to play all those skill players.
You got to play CMC. You got to play Kittle.
You got to. I think you still have to play Ayuk and Debo, because I think they're going to be open.
I think you got to play Debo, but maybe not Ayuk.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got Ayuk, you're probably in a situation where you're playing him anyways. I think the 49ers are going to do it here. I'm going to say that it's going to be give me CMC. I mean, I think it'll be a 60-60 and a touchdown or two. And then my busted, give me Rashad White / Leonard Fournette. I just don't think either of them are going to do anything against the 49ers.
Yeah. I think this could be I think the 49ers defense could shut out the Buccaneers on Sunday.
I think they'll get at least in field goal range.
How much can I put on that bet?
50 cents.
Done. A win is a win, baby.
I mean, you look at the Bucs offense on Monday night, and there was none. Not until the last two drives were there any offensive spark, anything whatsoever. And with that 49ers defense, which is dominant and getting better, especially with that porous Buccaneers
But if
offensive
they're
line.
up 20 going into the fourth quarter, I mean, they're going to put in backups and stuff like that because they're not going to want to
If it's a
expose.
shutout, they're going to want to keep the shutout going.
They're not going to keep
I
guys.
could
If it's
care less about that when
if
it's
it's-
playoff crunch time.
if
Okay.
it's 20-0 going into the fourth quarter, Bosa's over there getting Gatorade.
Okay, Tobin, who you taking, bud?
Give me Purdy and the Niners. They're really Purdy. I think their defense has just got too much. I think they're the game changer in this. They set the tone. 95-year-old Tom Brady, we're going to see if he's fragile or not, because I think he's going to meet the dirt a few times there. So it's going to be interesting to see how he responds. Sometimes that pisses him off, though, and gets him going, too.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how he responds. But I've got the Niners. I've got CMC for my bust out. I think it's going to be through the air. I don't think it's running. I think it's going to be, a lot of swing passes, options, choice routes, stuff like that you're going to see him make his hay. And then I've got playoff Lenny as my bust. You can do Rashad as well, but their whole running game is going to struggle against what the Niners bring. So, yep, it's going to be, and the over under in this one's I think 37.
You take the over or the under, Tobin?
I think I like the under.
I think I like the under
backup
too.
QB on one side, crazy ass defense on the other. I think it's 34, 35 maybe best.
I don't disagree. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 10-9 game or a 17-13 game.
I'm thinking a 24-6.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was 9-0.
Yeah, I mean, I
20
would
to 6.
probably it's 37. I would probably take the under all the way down to at least 35.
Okay, Tom. Eagles at the Giants
Well,
in a good old NFC East match.
that's right. What do the Giants have? Saquon.
Barkley.
What do the Eagles have problems with? Running backs. Until last week, but I expect a similar result where they'll shut Saquon down like they did with Henry, and another dominating Eagles performance. Good luck trying to stop A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith when you couldn't stop McLaren or Jahan Dotson or Curtis Samuel.
Or you and I playing catch with the Nerf.
Right.
Pretty much.
This is an Eagles romp. Give me Jalen Hurts as the bust out again. This one though might be like really even. He may go back to 200, 100 and 2 touchdowns on both sides. My busted, it'll be Danny Nichols every freaking game.
Okay, Tobin, who you taking, buddy?
I've got the Eagles circled here as well. When I was looking at their schedule going, down the line, they're 11-1 right now.
Yes, they are.
This is one that I had kind of put an asterisk by that they could potentially lose in division on the road. Yeah, no, give me the Eagles. My bust out's going to be Hurt So Good. He's going to do whatever the heck he wants against that Giants defense. I guess that's what you call him.
They gave up 275 to Taylor Heineke, who hadn't thrown for 200.
Yeah,
and if you look at it, their weapons are all upgrades versus what he had to work with. I mean, you give me Brown and Smith on the outside. You give me Sanders. You give me Scott. You give me Gainwell in the backfield, and the QB is light years different. So I don't see how this is. I mean, they might give up 40 to the Eagles very easily.
I think they're going to give more than give up 40.
So yeah, I've got them, and I've got to go with Danny Dimes. I mean, their only offense is Saquon, and yeah,
and it's not Danny Dimes' fault they don't have more weapons. It's the GM's fault for not having more wide receiver depth than what they did.
That could be another opening this year.
There very easily could be. Well, we've made all those wonderful points about how wonderful the Eagles are against the Giants. Saquon Barkley's still Saquon Barkley. So I'm taking the Eagles.
That made absolutely zero sense. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
That was worth something, wasn't it? But that suspension thinking maybe I was going to be stupid and pick the Giants.
God, I was hoping.
Dear 6 pound, 5 ounce baby Jesus.
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles. I'm taking Sanders to be the bust out player. I think Hurts is going to have a good game, but I think Sanders is going to get 100+ touchdown.
I like my Jesus with the tuxedo T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one. And
Says
my
he's
busted,
classy, but he's also here to party.
my bust is Danny Dimes. Not because he's not talented. He has talent. He has no talent around him other than Saquon, and that's it. All they have to do is put 9 people in the box, play man-to-man on the outside, and see what happens. Danny Dimes is he might rush for 70 yards because he's running for his life, but that's going to be all the offense they get. Saquon Barkley, I own in 2 leagues. I'm seriously thinking about not starting him in either league. Because is he going to get more than 50 yards rushing?
No.
Is he going to score a touchdown?
Maybe.
Is he going to get 5 catches?
Yes.
Okay, that's the only reason why you think about starting Saquon Barkley is in the PPR leagues.
Yep.
That's it. Other than that, there's not a single giant if you're in a standard scoring league, there's not a single giant you can start.
You probably have to start Saquon, but you feel really crappy about it.
Do I start Jamal Williams or do I start Saquon?
Oh, I'd rather start Jamal Williams.
Exactly, and I have both of them in each league along with Derrick Henry to match. I'm trying to figure out who do you start. Tobin, Ravens at the Steelers.
This one's kind of one of them that I've been going back and forth on all week. I'm going to go ahead and take the Steelers at home.
You realize the Steelers are on pace now to finish with at least an 8-9 record.
They're getting better. They're incrementally. I mean, they're starting to look like a Tomlin team.
Therefore, they're doing Tomlin's stretch of not having a losing record intact.
Yeah, they're doing Tomlin's type stuff right now. So, with TJ back, that changes the dynamics so much. I look at this kind of like that Bucs Niners game. I think the tough defense against the backup quarterback is how this swung me to the Steelers. Give me my bust out's going to be the Steelers D. I think Huntley, it's a good thing he's agile because he's going to be running for his life.
What's the over-under on this one?
Over-under on this one is 37.
I say 34.
And I like that one under as well.
I don't disagree.
And Vegas actually has the Steelers favored by 2.5 right now.
That's at home.
And who's your busted player of the week?
My busted's going to be Huntley. Backup QB, tough defense, on the road in Pittsburgh. The one thing you can guarantee is those fans will come out and they will be loud. So.
Okay, well, I'm going to take the Ravens. I think Huntley, even though he's a backup quarterback, he's not really a backup quarterback. He probably has at least 1 full season's worth of starts under his belt in the last 2 seasons with the Ravens. Huntley and Jackson are pretty much the exact same player. Jackson might be half a step faster, but Huntley's a lot bigger and a lot able to get the tough yards when necessary. It's evidenced by the rushing touchdown he had this last week. My bust out player of the week is going to be Huntley. I think he's going to put up probably somewhere between 20 and 25 fantasy points. If I had him in one of my leagues where I have Deshaun Watson and Dak, I might think about starting him rather than either one of those two if I owned him.
Hold on.
And the only reason why I wouldn't is because the defense they're playing against. If they were playing against somebody else's defense, I would probably start him over either one of those two. If they were playing the Browns defense instead of the Steelers, I'd start Huntley over either one of those two.
You want me to play that sounder again? Is that why you said that again?
No, I'm just saying that Huntley can run an offense, put points on the board.
I mean, what's in that Coke can?
Nothing right now.
Huh.
What wasn't is the question. My bust is going to be starting quarterback for the Steelers.
Pickett.
I think Pickett is a good young quarterback, but the speed that the Ravens have at linebacker is going to be the difference in the game, and the reason why he's going to be my busted player of the game. Tom?
Well, both teams are pretty desperate for wins. Both teams, I think, are going to struggle in this. I think this is a really low-scoring game. I think this has got 17-10, 17-13
14-13
written all over it. I put on here, I'm guessing under 35 points, so to hear it's 37, that's right in line. I think Huntley's going to do his best Lamar impersonation. He, I believe, was 1-3 filling in last year. Basically 1-0 this year. I think he'll find Mandrews for probably the one, or maybe he'll run another one in for 2 total touchdowns. I like George Pickens here. I like Freiermuth a little bit.
Pick something.
Give me the Ravens. They've got the better field goal kicker.
That's a good point.
I think it could come down to a kick to win the game. And I'll take, you know what I will? I'll take Justin Tucker as my bust out.
You got a 9-6 game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nick's gonna love you for that one.
he may have five or six field goals, and my busted. I'll go ahead and go with Najee Harris. He didn't practice today. He basically bounced a Falcons player's head off the turf last week. That will not happen against a Raven this week.
Nope. Okay, next game on the list: Vikings at the Lions. And unlike the last two games we talked about, this could legitimately be 40-45
Or more.
51.5 is the over-under on this, and I think that might be light.
That might be done in the first half.
Smash the over.
Yeah.
I did bet the over last week in the Jags and the Jags-Lions game, and it was 51.5 too.
Degenerate.
Yep.
Hope you cashed, didn't you?
I did.
Good.
Welcome to the club.
Yep. Well, in this game right here, I'm taking the Lions for the win. They're playing at home. Lions play well at home. Their offense is almost unstoppable at home, and it ain't exactly like the Vikings got no defense to stop them with. My bust-out player of the week is going to be Jared Goff. I think he's going to throw for 350 and 3. If I had him in the league, I would look at starting him, especially over what I currently have in two of my leagues, where I have Watson and Dak as those two quarterbacks. Goff would be a definite start in those leagues for me. My busted player of the week, I'm going to go with the Cook, running back for the Vikings. I just don't think he's going to have that good of a game, and he's due for an injury at some point in time. He's been pretty much healthy the last 2 to 3 weeks. He's due to hurt something this week and not score very many points. I don't think he's going to break. I don't think he can break the double digits this week. Tom?
Like my notes on here, play them all. Captain Kirk, JJ, Dalvin, Hawk, Thielen, Goff, Jamal, Swift, St. Brown, they're all going off. This has got to be in the 30s. The Vikings gave it 369 to Mike White, like we talked about earlier. They're getting Swift more involved. Now, he was limited in practice today, but they limited him in Wednesday last week, and he had no injury designation going in.
He's going to be limited the rest of the season in practice just because they don't want to injure him there.
Definitely on Wednesdays. I'm going to take the Lions. I'm going to bust out Amon-Ra, the sun god. I think he's just going to go off again. I'm going to bust Jamal Williams. I think that they are transitioning a little bit more to using Swift, and I think they're not going to get tackled inside the 10, which is going to keep Jamal Williams from getting into the end zone multiple times.
That's pretty specific. No tackles inside the 10. All right.
Tobin.
Heard it here first.
You got the Vikings, right?
I've got the Vikings. How can you bet against the 10-2 Vikings going into the 5-7 Detroit Lions?
The Lions have a 57% estimated win rate on this one.
Well, the Lions, even though they have a 5-7 record, I think they're the better
favored.
team at this point in time.
I think by 2.5.
They are favored. That's what I mean. I think Vegas is missing one here. So all you sharps out there, the guy that's leading this pick thing, he's taking the Vikings. We'll see how it works out. JJ is going to be my bust out. I mean, the Lions have no defense. Good God, he may go for 200 in this. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think that 51.5 won't make it to the start of the fourth quarter.
I don't think it make it past halftime.
Yeah, I think it might do that, but it's not going to last. It's going to be in the 60s. My bust is going to be the Detroit Lions' entire squad of tight ends. Let me name these guys: Brock Wright, James Mitchell, and Shane Zylstra. I thought it was going to say Shane Falco there for a second.
Here's a question for
Have
you.
you even heard of any of these guys?
I've heard of them only because I go, why are they throwing it to this guy? Why aren't they throwing it to Swift?
They
Why aren't
catch it, don't they? Who's had more fantasy points since they got traded, Hawkinson or the Lions tight ends?
I'm going to go with Hawkinson.
I'm going to take the Lions tight ends. So we need to look at for next week.
Yeah, you can go ahead and
see what we
Now
can do
he's
about doing
assigning homework.
No, it's just I think the Lions tight ends, even though they're not designated to one player, they've still been scoring. They've been having touchdown catches and catches.
Not very many catches.
Yeah.
We'll see. Okay, the next game on the list: Tobin Jags at the Titans.
Give me the Titans here at home. I think this will be an interesting game to watch. I know they'll only serve it up to local markets likely, but
Thank God.
King Henry, he's all you got. He's going to be my bust out. My busted's going to be Spicoli. I think, he was injured, limited, didn't practice today. Is that right?
Did not practice today.
Part of his deal is his mobility. And when that's gone, young quarterback, good pass rush, I think he's going to have a rough day.
Okay. Well, the next on the list, I'm taking the Titans to win the game.
No.
Well,
I was surprised to get that one because usually you take your own team first.
I do, but the next team is the Chiefs, so I want to take them first. We should have switched these two around, but I didn't.
That's all right.
Yeah. I'm taking the Titans to win in a get-right game for Henry. I think Henry owns the Jaguars just like he owns the Texans. He's probably going to rush for 140 and 2. Because, quite frankly, Tennessee ain't got nothing else on offense. Firing the GM at this point in time, Vrabel now kind of has carte blanche to do what he wants to with the lineups. They made some changes today. I think we're going to see smash mouth, good old Vrabel football, throwing the ball down the field, not throwing the ball in the field, but rushing the ball. Burks is still out. He's in concussion protocol. Probably not going to be cleared in time, which means we have 0 offensive weapons outside of Henry. Maybe if you're desperate for a tight end, Okonkwo for the Titans might be there. He's getting more and more touches.
Is he a Detroit tight end?
Nope, he's a Titans tight end, third-round draft pick from Maryland, who's looking pretty good. They brought him along slowly. He had 5 catches last week for, if I remember correctly, 63 yards, something like that. So he's getting touches, he's getting yardage. If you're desperate for tight end, 11 points ain't bad. My busted player of the week is going to be Etienne. Let's be real. What else they got to stop there? They got Kirk to stop and Lawrence. The easiest one to stop is Etienne, especially with the rush the front 7 Tennessee has at that point in time. Tom?
Yeah, so here's a little bit of something I picked up today. The last 3 November or December meetings with King Henry against the Jaguars, I believe it was 253, 145, and 215 are his rushing totals. I'll go ahead and split the difference there and say he's going to have 180. This could still be a real entertaining game because the Jaguars aren't going to be able to stop King Henry from rushing the ball, but the Titans aren't going to be able to stop whatever passing game that the Jaguars have.
True.
I hope Spicoli is healthy enough to get in on this one because that just makes Christian Kirk and Zay Jones more valuable. I agree with Doc. My busted is going to be Etienne. The Titans do not give up rushing yards. I mean, they didn't give it up to the Eagles. They give up plenty of passing yards, so nobody even runs it against them. The Titans are still going to win this thing running away, and King Henry's going to be the bust out.
Okay, next game on the list is the Chiefs at the Broncos. I'm taking the Chiefs.
Come on, man.
I can't even come up with anything to even think about how the Broncos are going to score above 12 points in this game.
I agree.
The only way they do is if Pat throws a pick 6 for 6 of them. That's it. You look at the Broncos offense and you go, they ain't got nothing. Russ has got if he was a Major League Baseball player, they'd move him from third base to second base and hope he could get the ball there. That's how ragged of an arm he's got at this point.
I thought maybe they'd go straight to DH.
They might. I'm just giving the benefit of you look at the Broncos and you go, wow, there's absolutely nothing on this team that's redeemable offensively at all.
That's not totally true.
I mean, Cortland Sutton.
Who's throwing the ball to him?
True.
That's why not redeemable. They have nothing. They have nobody throwing the ball to them.
He's the only one that's put up. Him and Dulcich are the only two that have put up any kind of numbers. Latavius Murray's been serviceable since they finally got.
All they got to do in the
Riddick Gordon.
The Chiefs' defense is a good young defense that can stop one thing. All they do is stop the rush and make Rush win the game, and that ain't happening.
Can you call Spagnola and let him know that? Because I'm not sure he's aware of that.
Well, I'm sure Spagnola's got that fear. He's a lot smarter than we are when it comes to football. My bust out is going to be Kelsey. Kelsey had a bad game this week. He's going to get even against the Broncos this week. He might catch 200 yards and 5 touchdowns.
No, he won't be in the game long enough to do that, but
he might not be. But if he is, it might be 200 yards and 5 touchdowns. This Pat's going to make sure he gets right this week.
Chad Henne is going to have a lot of PT in this.
My busted is Russ Wilson until otherwise stated because there's nothing else there. I mean,
It all starts there.
He's the reason why they're so crappy. Tom?
Well, I put my first notes in here were thank God America was spared this game on Sunday night, as the Chiefs will get the bad taste of a loss to the Bengals out of their mouth with a beat down to the Broncos in Mile High.
It's going to be ugly.
It's going to be gross.
What's the over?
Over under in this one is 44.
Yeah.
Chiefs might have that by themselves in 3 quarters.
Nah, I don't
Chiefs
think so.
by 9.5. 44 is the
Yeah,
over-under.
this has 30-9 written all over it. I'll go ahead and take the Chiefs. Give me TK as the bust out, and I'll double down with Russ as the busted.
Okay, Tobin.
Well, we've got a clean sweep on the busted and the bust out. Kelsey is going to get his whatever record-setting 100 receiving yards as a tight end. Whatever that number's up to, he's going to add one more to it. Yeah. Russ is terrible, as my favorite Charles Barkley would say. Terrible.
Oh, geez, he is.
But,
He's
give me
a
the
franchise
Chiefs.
killer at this point in time.
Give me the Chiefs, obviously. My concern with the 44 is I think I can see the Broncos getting into the teens here, because my Chiefs defense has a way of making people look a little bit better than they are right now as QBs. Stupid penalties, stuff like that just keeps people alive. I could see this being 30-13 or something like that. 35-13. Now you're over that 44. This one, I'm not sure on the number on this one. I think I'd rather take the Chiefs in the 9.5 than I would touch that over under right now.
Okay, Tom, the next game, Panthers at the Seahawks.
Now, I think this game surprisingly might be more competitive than what we think. Donta Foreman can definitely run on the Hawks. Now, he did not practice today, but he has also said there's a 95% chance he's playing. I don't know that they can get loose with the passing game to DJ Moore, especially with Sam Darnold throwing it around. And with no Ken Walker, I expect a huge game from Geno. I'm going to take the Hawks. Geno's going to be my bust out. And I'm going to make the Seattle RB1 my busted. I don't think whether it's Homer or Dallas or a busted up Ken Walker, I don't think they're going to do anything.
Okay, Tobin.
I've got the Seahawks winning this one at home. I don't think Darnold has what it takes to go into Seattle and walk out of there with a win, especially with the cast of characters he has to work with. So Darnold's actually my busted. I think his ears are going to be ringing. That 12th man will bring it. And I've got DK as the bust out. Kind of like Tommy alluded to, there's no running game in Seattle without Ken Walker. And it was a coin flip between Lockett and DK, and Lockett got it last week, so I think DK is getting it this week.
And who's your busted?
Darnold.
Okay. Well, I have the Seahawks winning this game, and I don't think it's going to be close. I think the Seahawks, with the Panthers traveling from the East Coast to the West Coast, they typically travel better than the opposite way.
But they got rid of that cancer, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, and
shipped him to the West Coast too.
I don't think it matters. I think the Panthers are a franchise in desperate need of a infusion of talent in the especially quarterback. Foreman being questionable if he doesn't play.
Oh, they're dead.
They're not just dead. They're Morgan autopsy trying to figure out what happened. My busted player of the week is going to be the Panthers quarterback. My bust out's going to be Geno Smith. I think Geno Smith has a very good game.
Well, he's going to have to.
He probably rushes for 80 yards and a touchdown.
He is their rushing game this week.
Yeah.
Right.
And that he doesn't have to. If you got those two talented wide receivers on the outside and you can get 140 from each one of them and a touchdown each one, you don't need anything more than that.
How'd you like to see DK on a jet sweep?
That'd be.
How'd you like to be a cornerback, seeing him coming around the corner?
Pass.
If I was 25 in shape, I think it'd be all right. But I'm not 25 and I'm not in shape, therefore I don't want to see that coming at
And
me.
if your aunt had balls?
I'm definitely going low.
Yes, I'm definitely shooting for a knee, nothing up high. Okay, Tobin, last game, Texans at the Cowboys.
Cowboys by 1,000,000.
How about them Cowboys?
This is going to be ugly early and often. Dallas by 16.5. Over under is 45.5. I heard a stat today that the Cowboys have put up something like 300. Can't remember what it was. It was like 380 points plus in their last 5 games.
Wow.
NFL record for a 5-game span. I mean, hell, they put up 25% of that in the fourth quarter against the Colts.
Correct.
But yeah, Cowboys, the Texans can't stop the run. What do the Cowboys have? They've got weapons in the backfield. They got weapons everywhere right now. But give me a bust out on Tony Pollard. This may be, I think it'll be 100 to 125 because they'll pull him before it gets the chance to go to 250 or 3 because this could be ugly. And my busted's going to be Mills. He's like, thanks, coach. Thanks for putting me back in for this pass rush. Appreciate that. Are you sure Kyle Allen doesn't need one more week just to be sure?
Davis Mills meet Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons meet Davis Mills several times.
Davis Mills meet turf of Cowboys.
Can you please get
AT&T Stadium, whatever. I mean, there's going to be an outline.
Yeah, Davis Mills is going to say, can you please get Micah Parsons off my head?
Yes.
Dallas is going to win the game. Not going to be close. It'll be over with by halftime.
When he picks them, I got to play it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I had the Cowboys as a 7-10, 8-9 team going into the season.
How's that one taste?
Well, tasting pretty crappy right now, but the Cowboys are doing the one thing they have to do, and that's rushing the football.
They're starting to find some balance is what's scary.
Yeah, but they turn around, they hand the ball to Pollard and Zeke. Pollard more than Zeke. They become a very competitive football team. My bust-out player of the week is going to be Pollard. Pollard's going to have 150 and 2, either catching and receiving, probably combined yards somewhere between 160, 175 between rushing and receiving. My busted player is going to be Pierce, running back for the Texans. He's a great young talent, but there ain't nothing else around him. Texans have some weapons. Nico Collins, Pierce, they look like good young players. Davis Mills, I think, is a serviceable NFL quarterback, but they got to put more people around him to find out what he can and cannot be.
Mm-hmm.
Tom?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to go with the Cowboys here. Unlike Doc, I think Nico Collins and Damian Pierce get decent fantasy points here because that's basically all the Texans have. On the Cowboys side, you start them all. Dak, Pollard, Zeke, CD, probably Schultz, probably Gallup, and the defense. I mean, start them all. There's going to be so many points in this. This could be a 60 burger. I agree. The bust out is Pollard. If he does not have 200 combined and multiple touchdowns, 2+, I will be shocked. And my busted is going to probably be, I'm going to go ahead and bust Brandon Cooks. I don't know what's going on with this dude, but
Has the dude played the last 3 weeks?
Yes, I know he's played. I don't know how much he's played, but he's terrible. And he is in I don't give a crap mode. And it is definitely not helping this team.
Yeah, from the second they didn't move him at the trade deadline, he was done.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, looking after the picks, Tom, you and I have one game different this week.
That's bull crap.
Tobin, you and I have 3 games different.
You're going down.
You have 2 games different with Tom.
It's good. I can stretch the lead out a little bit more.
Sure, why not?
I figure out what that magic number's getting to. It's starting to get close.
Getting close.
I have to hire an actuary for the show to get me those stats like lickety split.
We'll have the projector do that for us.
Negative, Ghost Rider.
You can't do math?
Now you can't reach the 10 keyboard. It's sitting on top of the counter.
Okay. And with that, folks, have a great week. We're out of here. May all your picks pay off and may all your bets cash.
See ya.